Hello, fellow English students. Welcome to English Language with Teacher Nick. I'm Teacher Nick. I'm so happy you could join me. Learning a new language is often like walking into a room where everyone is telling the same story, but you don't know that story. It feels like sometimes people are afraid to tell you. What are they saying? I can tell you the story of English. Here on this channel, English Language with Teacher Nick, I talk a lot about idioms. I talk about word roots, prefixes, suffixes. I talk about the story of English so that your mind has a place to grow and learn to think in English. If you are a student of English and you are ready to learn to think in English, I can tell you the stories that every other English speaker knows. Today we're going to talk about common idioms that you will find on both the IELTS and TOEFL tests. Knowing the story of English is very important. You need someone to tell you the stories and hopefully tell you more than one time. That's where I come in. I've been teaching English as a second language for over 20 years. If you want me to tell you the story of English, there's plenty to tell. Subscribe for the next lesson. First idiom we're going to talk about is to bite the bullet. A bullet is shot out of a gun. Back a long time ago when they did medical procedures on the battlefield, they would probably give them some rum or some other kind of liquor and then clean the wound with that. And then they might saw off a leg or an arm and they would give you something to bite on, because when you are in pain, you will bite down on something. And if you don't have a piece of leather or a stick between your teeth, you will hurt your teeth. You will break your teeth. On the battlefield, there are a lot of bullets. Still, bullets are made of lead. Lead can give a little bit, and you won't break your teeth if you clamp down on the bullet. So bite the bullet becomes do something hard and just get it over with and feel the pain and don't worry about it too much. Bite the bullet. A piece of cake. Something is a piece of cake when something is very simple or very easy. And it is something that we would say to assure a friend of ours that it's not going to be hard. Oh, it's a piece of cake. To say that I am this good at something, or maybe that they hadn't realized that it was easier than they thought. That is a piece of cake. To kill two birds with one stone means that you are fixing more than one problem with one solution. When you want to kill a bird, maybe you would throw a stone into the bush, throw the stone at the bird. And if you are even better, you can throw one stone and hit two birds. Kill two birds with one stone. The next idiom is let the cat out of the bag. And you might imagine that a cat doesn't like to be in a bag. In this idiom, the cat is the secret. So if we're all not supposed to tell, maybe someone has a birthday party that's going to be a surprise. If someone let the cat out of the bag when they just couldn't help it and they said the thing that they weren't supposed to say, they let the cat out of the bag and told the secret. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. A basket is a thing that you might hold a bunch of eggs. And this phrase, this saying, comes from Aesop's fables. This is from a story that people tell their children. The moral at the end of this story is don't put all of your eggs in one basket. The idea being, if you drop that one basket, then all of your eggs will break. It's very important to develop different things in different places, so that if one thing breaks, you can fall back on more than one thing. Another word for that in finance is to diversify, and that means to take some of your money and put it in different businesses once in a blue moon. So a blue moon is a term for when we might see two full moons in the course of one calendar month. That would be called a blue moon. That doesn't happen very often. So when we say once in a blue moon, we just mean rarely. To burn the midnight oil. Burn the midnight oil refers to a lamp. A lamp is the thing that makes light, and it used to be that you would light oil and light that to see by. To burn the midnight oil means to keep your light lit even into midnight. That might cost a little bit more money in oil, but you will be able to do a little bit more work before the next morning and get that project done in time if you burn the midnight oil. Speaking of burning, we can burn the candle at both ends. If you imagine a candle, you usually light the top, but if you turn the candle to the side, you can light both ends. That would be burn the candle at both ends. If you think of that, is that a good thing to do? Sometimes we don't have any choice and we have to work very hard over here. We have to work very hard over there. We have to work very hard at school, and maybe we have to work very hard and take care of someone who needs us because they are sick. There might be many things that we have to take care of at once. That is to burn the candle at both ends. We can do that for a little while, but the candle that burns twice as hot burns half as long. So if you burn the candle at both ends, it will end quicker. It means that there's danger in doing too much. At the drop of a hat means when someone says start. To drop a hat might have been back in the 1800s, the early 1900s, when everyone would be wearing a hat. They would drop a hat to start a boxing match or to start a horse race. So at the drop of a hat means when someone says start. But these days, at the drop of a hat might mean anytime and anywhere and all the time and very happily. He loves to sing and he will sing for you at the drop of a hat, meaning anytime he feels like he wants to, he will sing for you. That is at the drop of a hat. What is to cry over spilt milk? Spilt is the past participle of spill. That means it has already been done. In this case, it is acting almost like an adjective. Milk is a noun, so spilt milk means the milk that is already spilt. It's already no good. If the milk is already no good, wipe it up, pour another glass. You don't have to cry over spilt milk. There's no reason to worry about some problem that has already done the bad work. You just get rid of the bad part and you move on. No use crying over spilt milk. You can't judge a book by its cover. I think this one's pretty obvious. If you look at a book and you see its cover, maybe someone painted it and they're very good at painting, but the person who wrote the book isn't that good at writing. Or maybe the other way around. Bad painting and good writer. Or maybe I just don't like one or the other. You can't tell what reading the book is going to give you just by looking at the outside. Of course, you know that we're not just talking about books, we're talking about people, we're talking about situations, we're talking about staying long enough to see the context behind something, or maybe the reasons why something is the way it is. It's very important not to judge any book by its cover. To go the extra mile is a reference from the Bible, and it means that when someone needs this much and you think you're done, you go the extra mile. You do more when you are helping other people. But in these days, go the extra mile is generally going to be for a business context. Your boss will tell you, go the extra mile, show how important this job is to you. It's funny how bosses might quote the Bible to their own means, but that is the nature of bosses, and that is the nature of go the extra mile, and indeed that is the nature of the Bible to be quoted when people want you to do a little bit more work. Go the extra mile means to do more than other people do, to show up a little bit earlier, to work a little bit harder, to leave a little bit later. Go the extra mile. If you're going to go the extra mile, make sure that it's your choice and you choose which extra mile. Raining cats and dogs. It is raining cats and dogs. Raining cats and dogs is a very interesting idiom because there's no real meaning for it. It's a very old idiom. People have been saying it for a long time. But in this case, the story behind it is not so easy to understand. I don't even know it myself. If someone else knows it, they can tell me. It basically means cats and dogs are not going to get along with each other. If you have a whole bunch of cats, you have a whole bunch of dogs, it's going to be a whole bunch of ruckus. going to be a whole bunch of noise and trouble. And that's what raining cats and dogs is. It's when the trees are shaking and limbs are coming down and the wind is blowing and rain is very hard, pounding on the ground, and it doesn't look like it will end ever. Raining cats and dogs. To throw in the towel means to call it quits. It means that you are done doing what you wanted to do. You cannot make it till the end that was agreed upon by everyone who started. This comes from boxing or fighting, when the manager sees his fighter and his fighter is too hurt, but the fighter doesn't want to stop. Then the manager will throw the towel on the ground, and that is a signal for the referee or the umpire to come in and stop the boxing match or the fight. Throw in the towel then means to call it quits. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. In this case, bridge is a problem. So you don't want to do the problem. You don't want to have to think about the problem right now. Right now, I'm going to think about the problems of right now. Later, I will think about that problem. I will cross that bridge when I come to it. A lot of projects we have to do, especially with other people, might have many difficulties. And sometimes someone wants to talk about something that is 1 week or 2 weeks away when we have a problem right now to talk about. So at that point, you would say, we're going to cross that bridge when we come to it. While we're on the topic of bridges, there's also burn that bridge. If we have a relationship between two people or between a company and myself, and I don't care anymore, and I start a fight or I act inappropriately, I will burn that bridge. So don't burn your bridges. 2 more idioms, and they're both about Rome. Rome used to be the center of civilization. A lot of places might make that claim right now, but back when Rome was the center, they got to decide what is normal and what is not normal. If you're a visitor in Rome, then you follow the customs of the Romans. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. But like many other idioms, we don't really have to say do as the Romans do anymore. We just say when in Rome, and it means do the things that the local people do. Our last idiom for today is Rome wasn't built in a day. If you think about the history of Rome, there's the thing that we remember, which is the big civilization that's over the entire Mediterranean world at the time. That took a long time to get there. Rome wasn't built in a day means that big projects take a long time, and it also means that you have to do things over here, you have to do things over there. There are different aspects that all need to be timed and put together if you want to do a big project, if you want to complete a big project. So you think to yourself, it's okay. I don't do it all today. I do some today. I do some tomorrow. Rome wasn't built in a day. And I think anyone who wants to learn a language should realize that when we undertake doing such a hard thing, we need to be comfortable taking a long time. And that means leaving it when it gets too frustrating sometimes. Maybe take a day off when it's too hard, but always come back, because Rome wasn't built in a day. There are 18 idioms for us to think about. I want you to memorize these idioms, and right now we will practice saying them. Every time I say an idiom, press pause, you say the idiom. I say it, then you say it. Bite the bullet. A piece of cake. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Let the cat out of the bag. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Once in a blue moon. Burn the midnight oil. Burn the candle at both ends. At the drop of a hat. No use crying over spilt milk. You can't judge a book by its cover. Go the extra mile. Raining cats and dogs. Throw in the towel. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Burn your bridges. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Rome wasn't built in a day. Write them down on a list. Put the list in your pocket. When you see a situation in your life think of that idiom in English and cross it off the list. You will have to put it into practice to learn it in any real way. Just like Rome wasn't built in a day, learning idioms is not something you can do just by memorizing from one video. It's time for you to, in your mind, think of the idiom, use it to describe a situation that's real for you, and that idiom will become real for you too. I want to thank you so much for watching all of this video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This has been English Language with Teacher Nick. I'm Teacher Nick. I'm so glad you could join me. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.